Hello everyone, 5G Off-Road here. Today I'm working on my 2015 Polaris RZR 4. Had a little bit of clanking going on in the front and rear. I'm pretty sure it's my driveline U-joints. Been watching a couple other videos here and there, and never tackled this one on my own, but they have been replaced before, but I'm going to put some better ones in there. The Bounty series from Super ATV. They're all greasable and sealed, so hopefully that'll make them last a little bit longer. Well, anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to take this driveline out without taking the skid plate or the floor out, just by taking off out the middle console. Pretty much all you're going to need is a screwdriver and a T30 Torx head for about 4 or 5 of those, and then those little push pin things to take out, and then you'll be set to take out your center console. Anyway, took off the front piece, took off the rear piece. So I do have this little gun safe armrest console here that bolts to the seat belt bolt holes. So that was a little bit more of a pain than I was wanting to go through, because you have to put those bolts through the plastic and then try to reach up, stand on your head and reach up in there and get them done, and I wasn't wanting to do that. So Polaris had this little box here that covered up that hole, and it's not there anymore, as you can tell. I cut it off. I took the Dremel tool with this nice little handy dandy bit here on the end of it, and about 5 minutes that piece was off, pretty clean cut. That hole will be covered up by the rear cup holders, and conveniently it's going to be right over the carrier bearing, so I'm going to end up drilling a hole through the cup holder, I believe. I'll show you guys a picture of that later, to where I'll be able to grease the U-joints underneath the cup holders in the center there after the carrier bearing. I am using the Super ATV billet style carrier bearing. I did not remove that from the drive shaft. All I did was unbolted it from each side over here, and you can see the bolt holes, one over there, one over here, and then I do have the banjo bolt greaser here, banjo bolt greaser, to be able to grease the carrier bearing from inside there. Anyway, I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. I know, when they put these things in the factory, it's probably pretty convenient, but when you're trying to work on them on your own, it's no bueno. So anyway, if I ever have to take this off again and do it, hopefully it'll be about a 30 to 40 minute job, minus putting the U-joints in. But anyway, started with the front U-joint, took the pin out. Since last time I didn't put the pin in there, I put an actual grade 8 bolt through there with a locking nut, and it worked 10 times better than the pin. Took it loose, left it on the spline shaft. Got the carrier bearing loose over here, and then there's no pin in the rear. So once you get the carrier bearing loose, you can slide the rear shaft up toward the carrier bearing. There's more play on those spline shafts than there is anywhere else, and it'll allow you to get the front U-joint off of your front diff. Once the front diff is off, or your U-joint's off the front diff, you can slide it over toward the passenger side, and you may have to go in there and just kind of turn the U-joint a little bit to be able to so it will slide forward. So once it slides forward, then you need to go to the rear and start working it back toward the front of the vehicle. I did have to go from the front to the middle a couple times with the carrier bearing, because it does spin because it's on a bearing. So once you get the carrier bearing up on top of where the bolt holes are, and they keep it from twisting on you and all that stuff, then the whole thing should move forward. You might have to go work the front U-joint just one more time to get it out of the way of anything that's up there might be hitting on. You're only going to need about 1.5 to 2 inches of movement toward the front to be able to slide it off there. Once the rear slip yoke was off of the splines on the rear, I pretty much realized I was going to be able to get it out at that point. I then took off the rear tire, jacked it up with a block as high as I could. You are going to have to take off your belt cover, and you'll be able to slide it all out right through here. No problem. Just make sure your upper and lower A-arms are pretty much at full droop, and you should be able to get it out without any problems. I didn't jack it up until I was ready to, just because I didn't want to raise the vehicle up and have to be leaning over it anymore, and I have to, so just to make it convenient. If you have 2 people, this literally probably can be done in just a couple minutes once you get everything loose to work it out, work the whole driveline out. It probably took me about 10 to 15 just because I was having to get up and move around and go to the middle, the front, the back, and all that. But for the most part, came out super smooth. Can't say it's going to go in as smooth, but my son will be home here in a little bit after school, and I'll have him help me thread it back through. So I don't think it'll be a big deal, but if it comes out, it'll go back in. So anyway, hope you guys like it. Take part as minimal as possible. Work smarter, not harder. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Right on.